And we have lovely dinners at Oxford, you know, in our college. And the seat placings are fixed. And one night, I found myself beside a very eminent biochemist. He said, listen, I'm an atheist, I'm a reductionist, and we have nothing to talk about, and we're going to have a miserable dinner. Well, that was a challenge for an Irishman. So I looked at him and I said, with a great grin, because I grin, you know, when I'm panicking. A great grin, I say to him, no, we're going to have a marvellously interesting evening. He said, why is that? And I said, I'm fascinated by reductionism. You believe everything can be reduced to physics and chemistry. He said, exactly. And that's why we've nothing to talk about. I said, we have. Why don't we do an experiment? He said, what? I said, you heard me. Why don't we do an experiment? But he says, this is dinner. I said, yes, but it's Oxford. And he said, what's the experiment? I picked up the menu. And he said, what's the problem with the menu? Roast chicken. I said, that's the problem. For you, not for me. He said, why? I said, R-O-A-S-T. Those are marks on paper. Yes, they are, but they say roast chicken. I said, how do you know? Well, he said, I've learned English. Oh, I said, that's very interesting. You learned English, and you give those marks a meaning, and you're a reductionist. Everything physics and chemistry. I said, okay, you explain to me how those marks convey the idea of roast chicken, and just use the material of the paper and ink. Dead silence. He looked at it. And it was very funny, actually, I must say this, because his wife was there. And she said it too loudly, she said, get out of that if you can. But what was amazing, he did not try. After a minute or so, he said, it cannot be done.
He was sharp enough to see that.
But it was devastating for a man of his eminence. He said, John, now he's getting friendly, I have been going to my laboratory for 40 years thinking that could be done. 40 years.
So he saw through it.
He saw through it like that, like a flash. And I tried to play devil's advocate, which I can be reasonably good at. And I said, but physics and chemistry, properly spoken, have only been going 500 or 600 years. He said, it doesn't matter. You must have a mind.